Hello fish tankers. You know of course that I like my tetras, as you can see in my 29 gallon with those diamond tetras and rosy tetras swimming around. But what if you want something else? A fish that can be a peaceful member of a community aquarium that will do well in groups, and that's got a lot of color and movement to the aquarium, but you're not into tetras at the moment, or you don't want to look at rasboras. Well, stick around and find out. Now let's start with something that's very closely related to the tetra, but not quite, and these are pencil fish. Now these are Beckford's pencil fish there with two males displaying, and they are fish that's similar sizes to your smaller tetras. They go from tiny to a little bit bigger. You will see here we've got the Beckford's pencil fish, and then we also have others, you know, like the free-line pencil fish that you'll see coming up in the next clip. And they have a very similar behavior to the tetras, but they're something else. You've got to watch for a lid on the tank, because they can be jumpers. And another thing is I've got these tiny little mouths, as you look at the freeline pencil fish here. And those tiny little mouths require tiny food. So crush up the flake or use nano pellets. Make sure they can fit the food into their mouths. Now neon tetras, we all know, but let's say you want something similar. How about the poor man's neon tetra, the white cloud mountain minnow, or white clouds for short? They also have that little glowing stripe, only it's gold here, and they've got a very interesting sort of black bluey or brown bluish body, and they are the hardiest beginner fish that you can find. They don't even need a heater. They can be at an aquarium at room temperature, and they will be fine. I've even kept them with some fancy goldfish once. And there's also a gold color variety, so you can mix the two color varieties together. Then you've got a nice variety in movement, and it's something that is not a tetra. Now bigger tetras like Congo tetras are great, but what if you want something else that's larger? What about mascara barbs? Now barbs have a reputation as being aggressive fin nippers. These, as long as they are in the tank with fish that are not don't have excessively long finnage, they'll be fine. And if you keep them in a big group, they become really attractive fish with their fins growing out in filaments, and those markings with a bit of orange, that black marking by the tail base, becoming more pronounced. So mascara barbs is definitely something that's underrated, but I can put in a larger aquarium instead of something like Congo tetras. And another one would be rosy barbs. The males become a very bright reddish color, like the name indicate here in the shop, so they don't have quite the same color. It's also a fish that can live in cooler temperatures, and unless you're in a cold area, it can go without an heater. And they breed rather easily too, and it's been in the hobby for ages, but they're sort of out of vogue. But this is something that you can have in some of your bigger community aquariums that can make for a good display. Then for those bigger tanks, a Busmani rainbow. You can see the males are just coloring up here. They'll grow to about double the size that you see them here. And with that orange and purple, it's a very attractive fish. With these rainbow fish, these bigger Melanatania rainbow fish, make sure there's a bit of hardness in the water. So my pH is very low out of a tap, 6.5, with almost no hardness. And so I'll add some alkaline buffer to that water. Otherwise, they don't do well. Now, for the tetras that swim through the middle, like these rummy noses and cardinals, you can try something like the blue eye Fukata rainbow fish. These are tiny sort of nano rainbow, not the same thing as the Busmani rainbows that you've just seen. They can go in a 10 gallon, 1.5 foot tank in a shoal, just like a tetra, and they've got some very interesting behavior. The males display, and they will breed easily if you have a spawning mops there for them to breed in, or fine plant material. There you can see the male displaying. And here's another one of those, and that's a blue-eyed neon rainbow. You'll see the display by the males there, and it's really a stunning little fish. Make sure you have not too many males so that they don't tire each other out of the display. He's even displaying towards the ember tetra there, you can see. And these little Ceromugal nano rainbows are great additions to any aquarium. Then Norman's lamp eye killifish. They are fish that swim around the middle of the aquarium, not along the top like many killifish do. And they're plainly colored, but they've got that glowing little blue eye that one struggles to do justice on a camera. But if you see them in an aquarium, they also shoal quite tightly, unlike other killifish. You know, they swim in that group. Most other killies spread out. But that is a very nice alternative if it can be considered. Then you've got rainbow shiners. They grow a bit bigger, so I'll put them in at least a 3-foot tank, a bit bigger, I would say 4 foot is more like it. And when the males color up, they really become stunning fish. And they're relatively unfussy. They can work in cooler water as well. And the males do make a great display once they get into that breeding coloration. Get a group of them, and they will be something different that not everybody, certainly not in South Africa, has. And there you can see the colors coming out with this male there. Just look at those. There you see why it's called a rainbow shiner. Look at those blue speckles that starts coming through as soon as I get into that breeding condition. Really something stunning. Then another one would be the dwarf neon rainbow. That's also from a Melanotania family like the Busmani. It's bigger than those Sierra McGill Nano rainbow fish, and they get a bit thicker and chunkier than what you see them here. You know, they get a bit taller in the body, and they've got that nice blue sheen all over their body with the red fins that become more pronounced. Definitely a nice little fish. Then if you want to replace the top fin swimming tetras like the penguins, how about the rocket killifish? You can see why they call them rocket killifish. The males have those distinct tails that looks like the jet exhaust of a rocket. Also make sure that you have some females so that the males don't get too aggressive towards each other, because they will display sometimes. And they're at the top of a tank, and they are big jumpers, so make sure also that you have a tight fitting lid on that aquarium. Then there's tetras that sort of spread out around the tank. They don't stay in a shoal like the emperor tetra. Instead of them, how about some Gardneri killifish? They also are sort of spread out around the tank, and they stake out their little spots in among the plants. Well, that's it from me, people. Let me know in the comments what kind of alternatives do you have for tetras. And also, please remember to subscribe. And until I see you again, take good care of those domestic denizens of the deep.